And we're back for another episode. In this episode, we're going to be carrying on the main story of Final Fantasy XIV's expansion, Endwalker. And as always, hello from Mithrie. So we are here in Mare Lamentorum at 9:32, and we need to talk to Y'shtola. The quest is called Returning Home. Your excursion on the moon concluded. Y'shtola is keen to return to Ephesus. With the Lolo writs in Urionji's capable hands, we needn't worry about affairs here in our absence. Knowing now the face of their earthly collaborators, there is much to discuss with Alphanode and the others. Let's return to the Tower of Babel. Our battle for the star will soon begin in earnest, and we must be prepared. Fair enough. I guess we have to go back to the navigate. Let's see, it's close by. So I actually did spend the time to unlock flying in the zone and also do all the shared fates as well. That's why I'm a bit ahead of the levels at the moment. I'm nearly level 89 already. Okay, let's talk to Thancred. So, gods, I can scarcely believe we went to the moon and back. But we'll have to reflect on that later. Right now, we need to head back to Camp Broken Glass and deliver a thoroughly detailed report to Lucia. I'd like very much to know how everyone is getting on here as well. They'd only just begun to treat the tempered prisoners when we left. I share your curiosity, but warning our allies of the final days is of greater importance. I speak not only of the contingent, of course. The heads of state of every nation must know what we have learned. We know not when or where or in what manner the final days will begin to manifest, but we must see that everyone is prepared. Agreed, though we may wish to stress the importance of discretion, lest the public be sent into a panic. Not that anyone in a position of responsibility should need to be told as much, but it bears repeating. Anyway, first things first, to Camp Broken Glass. Okay, again, I should be able to teleport straight there, so let's go. Alrighty, so I'm happy that I've 100%ed these zones already. Okay, let's talk to Lucia. It's good to see you all again. No worse for your lunar adventure, I hope. We've done what we can for now, and believe me, we intend to tell you all about it. But before we do, might you tell us what's become of Garlemald in our absence? We succeeded in subduing the Tempered inside the Tower of Babel. We took many alive, but combined with those who were already in our custody, the number requiring care has grown exponentially. The ensettlement conditions here have made it difficult, if not impossible, to treat them all here. So we have petitioned the aid of the allied nations. Some are understandably hesitant to proffer assistance, particularly those that were but recently subject to imperial occupation. That said, several others have agreed to grant them refugee for treatment. With the assistance of your fellow scions, we endeavour to see them safely transported and subsequently cured of their tempering. With all the tempered be relocated? Sorry, I said that completely wrong. Not all, no. We have sufficient shelter to attend to those whose treatment has begun, and enough healers have volunteered to remain until their patients have recovered. Julius is one such patient, though he is not yet fit to receive visitors. Truth be told, it was a miracle he and those in his company were not harmed in the chaos. If not for Alphanode and Lise's timely assistance, I dare say none of them would be with us today. Now, in light of recent developments, have the Alliance leaders come to any decision regarding Garlemald? Given the tremendous ramifications of what happened here, It will take time to determine what must be done. In the meantime, they intend to work with the Eastern Alliance to keep a close watch over the provinces. We have other news to share. Shortly after Anima was defeated, we received reports that each and every tower has vanished. For Mercy, the process was apparently not quite as violent as that you experienced in Favner. Those who were trapped within them have been rescued and are receiving treatment. To hasten this endeavor, the beast tribes have received instruction in the magics needed to cure tempering. Master Batoya is no doubt thrilled with the Mother Porksy affords her so many visitors. Yes, we are grateful for her ongoing efforts as well as those of our comrades near and far. As for the contingent, several of our members have been granted leave to return to their homelands after the transfer of Tempered has been completed. Lucy and I will remain, along with a small force, to continue offering and aid to those here in Garlemald. The Empire may be no more, but there are yet those who call these lands home. I believe that accounts for recent events here. So what of the Moon and the Telophoroi? A long story. End of days, Zodiac. We're doomed. The final days, gods, I prayed your victory would mark the end of our troubles. There is still much we do not know, but the Alliance leaders must be told. Would you be willing to contact them in our stead? Yes, of course. I will send word forthwith. We'll also release your fellow Scions from their present duties, that they may return to Charlian. Your energies are better spent finding a means to avert the coming apocalypse. Speaking of your fellow Scions, you'll be happy to hear that Mistress Kryl, though still on the mend, has been moved to the Baldassian Annex and given into Tataru's care. Thank you. I look forward to seeing them both upon our return. Let's be on our way then. One last thing, if I may. After your confrontation with Zodiac, you said Xenos took his leave, and in all likelihood he has returned here to Garlemald. I have a mind to dispatch scouts to try and ascertain his whereabouts, but first wish to ask if you believe there is merit in doing so. If they found him, they would not likely live to tell the tale. If you're expecting a trial of destruction to follow, you won't find one. An admirable but futile endeavor. I suppose you're right. To dispatch good soldiers in pursuit of such a beast would be to send them to their deaths. Pray forget I entertained the notion. While on the subject of Xenos, the 10th Legion has made an official proclamation. They denounce the Crown Prince and condemn his role in the Empire's downfall. His very title has become a source of shame among his former subjects, and its continued use serves only to hinder relations with foreign nations. For this reason, he has been declared a Xenos Vita Galvus, outcast and enemy of Garlemald. Fandaniel is no more, and now his own people turn against him. It seems he's naught but his bloodlust to keep him company. Better than an army to see it sated. At any rate, I will not keep you longer. I pray you safe passage back to Charlian. Fair enough, fair enough. Alright, so let's now catch up with Kryl at the Annex. So let's go. Okay, so we caught up with Kryl. Let's talk to her. So, welcome back, Mithrie. We were so terribly worried about you. Though it is plain I have caused my own fair share of worry, for that I apologise. idly called to me that on that day when you entered the Tower of Babel. Pleas were faint but desperate, and I knew at once that she required a vessel to carry her will. What came after feels like a dream, barely remembered. My body flowing through the life stream towards Garlemald. When I regained consciousness, I was all aches and frostbite, exhausted of Aether. So exhausted, in fact, I could only laugh, for it was in that moment understood Raha's wariness from the Tower of Zot. Would that I could laugh at a time like this. Though we prevented Zodiac from being unleashed upon the world, I am curious to know what else took place there on the moon. Perhaps we should wait for the others to join us before you give your account. Let's reconvene in the main hall once they've arrived. Okay, so let's go into the main hall. Alright, let's wait at this destination. So sorry to have kept you all waiting. Not at all. We understand that you've been quite busy. Will Yu Yonji be joining us? Duty keeps them away, I'm afraid, though Mithrie can explain why better than I. I mean, they're like carrots and etc. And let me just make up the rest. The final days, as befell Amarot. You got that from what I was saying? And we are to escape via the moon? What of the source and its reflections? I have no intention of standing by while the world falls to ruin. So, how do we stop this? Unfortunately, we have no answers at present. If the celestial currents have grown stagnant, as was the case in the time of Amarot, the solution would be to alter the flow of Aether throughout the entirety of the star. The ancient accomplished this by summoning Zodiac, sacrificing half the star's population in the doing. But it should go without saying that such a sacrifice must not and cannot be repeated. Which leaves us with the daunting task of identifying the underlying catalyst for the final days, a feat which even the Armoritines could not accomplish. Unfortunately, we found no clues in Mare Lamentorum. There's so much we do not know about the catastrophe itself, let alone what may have caused it. The final days were marked by the corruption of the Armentine's creation magics, but we command no such power, which invites the question, what havoc is in store for us? If we knew that much, perhaps we could draw some parallel with the events of the past, and thereby form some semblance of a plan. Perhaps we should start with the Forum, then. Having worked with the Loperites in secret all this time, there is surely more they can tell us. Forgive the interruption, but I have urgent news. There's a service called Amazon Prime, and if you connect it to Twitch, I'm just kidding. The Forum is holding a public assembly in the plaza outside. Some sort of announcement. What is Father up to now? There's only one way to find out. Like children. Scoff.
Order! Order, I say! I thank you all for gathering here on such short notice. This day we must speak of grave affairs and their implications for the future of Sharlayan, nay, of this very star. Said affairs concern all citizens, and so we have called for a public assembly. You may have heard rumors of the Telophoroi and the havoc these madmen wreak abroad. Under normal circumstances, we would pay little heed to petty disturbances outside our borders. The final days, however, are another matter altogether. For we dare not ignore these prophetic words of Eld. The Endbearers will come, ushering chaos and calamity. The final days descend and devour the very star.
I've never heard this prophecy.
Is it true? Will all that really happen?
Calm yourselves. The time has come to speak of the Forum's most sacred duties. But first...
Give voice to the voiceless. Let bindings be unbound. By unanimous decree, I declare the enchantment broken.
Master Leveilleur, if you would.
Very well. "270 years ago, our forebears began an expedition in the Dravanian hinterlands, in search of a route to access the ethereal sea. This much is public knowledge. Their findings, however, would become the Forum's most closely guarded secret. What those researchers discovered in the hinterlands was not a passage unto the ethereal sea, but the very heart of our star, and Hydaelyn herself. She spoke to them of a calamity that would extinguish all life, and of a means by which we might be spared. The moon. 'Tis in truth a gargantuan vessel built to serve as sanctuary for her children, and deliver them from this doom. Much like Nunkref's hope in ages past, it will bear the people of a world in the throes of death to a new home.
Needless to say, this will be no small undertaking. To facilitate the great work, the Forum has maintained close contact with the servants of Hydaelyn, who presently reside on the moon. Convinced that the foretold end was all but inevitable, we began amassing a wealth of knowledge. Not merely for the betterment of our nation, but in preparation for the journey to come.
You reveal this to us now? By the gods, how long do we have?
While we cannot say with certainty, we believe the hour to be nigh. We received a transmission from the moon suggesting as much not long ago. Which is why we must in earnest begin preparations for the great exodus. For his impressive contributions, and the leadership he demonstrated during our withdrawal from Dravania, we have elected Master Leveilleur to oversee this initiative.
Fellow scribes and scholars, my countrymen, we face a threat of unprecedented scale. We must challenge the trials before us with composure and conviction if we are to find salvation. The wisdom of Sharlayan has ever been a shining beacon in the darkness, and so it shall continue to be. It is our solemn charge to see our heritage preserved for future generations. For those who will come after, we will brave a new frontier.
Administrative edicts will be relayed to all major institutions ere long. In the meantime, carry on with your duties. With that, I hereby call this assembly to a close.
Do you remember what Mother told us when we visited home? That it wasn't until after we were born that Father seemed to lose himself in his work. If that great work of his was the evacuation of this star, then...
Yes. It wasn't for his benefit. Would you mind waiting here a moment? I wish to speak with Father before we leave.
Take your time. No, you're not allowed to speak to your father.
Thank you. I shan't be long.
If it's all the same to you, I have a few choice words to share with Father as well.
So, come to call us cowards and bid us join your fruitless battle against the inevitable.
Nay, we do not object to the Forum's proposal. On the contrary, those who wish to flee have every right to do so. Urianger is cooperating with your associates on the moon to ensure that all is ready should evacuation be our only recourse.
Then whatever your business, I suggest you be brief.
Though we cannot boast the boundless wisdom of Sharlayan, we have first-hand knowledge of foreign cultures, and have conversed with no small number of peoples. These experiences have taught us fundamental truths that cannot be recorded in any tome, nor charted on any map. The beating heart of this planet is its people, many of whom would give anything, even their lives, to protect the lands they love. Many may choose to join you in the end. But what of those unwilling or unable, for whom escape will never be an option? What would you have them do? To ignore the plight of those one might conceivably save is not wisdom, Father. It is indolence. This is why we choose to fight.
We'll not ask for your understanding, Father. Only that you don't turn a blind eye to the good we have done. That we can still do. We're not children in need of protection. Hold fast to your principles and let the world burn if it please. But we believe there is still another way. And if there is, we will find it. You see if we don't.
Do as you will. Just stay out of our way.
Were he not so consumed with self-righteousness, he might tell you how proud he is of you both.
Bold words call for bold action. And there'll be no turning to your father should plans go awry.
As if I ever would. So long as there are those who wish to stay and fight for this star, we have to do what we can to help them.
And if we're to do that, we'll need to be well rested. Wouldn't you agree? And having triumphed over what we once thought to be the source of all evil, I can think of no one in greater need of at least a dozen winks.
Shall we then? To the Annex, to prepare for tomorrow.
Hey. Alright. So let's quickly go back and speak to Ojika. Okay, we've caught up with Ojika, so let's talk to her. So, Kryl tells me the forum made a rather momentous announcement. So, there's to be a great exodus, is there? I'm reminded of my narrow escape from the Isle of Val. Realization, the mixture of relief and regret after... why me, I ask myself, why me? Why us, why now, why wonder? There is no use fretting over the cosmic morality or lack thereof. We're here and we'll get through this together. And who knows, maybe my luck will rub off and grant everyone a narrow escape. There's no harm in praying for as much. Oh, but enough of my rambling. I'm sure you're exhausted. Your chamber awaits. Okay, let's go to my chamber. It's complete. They're actually giving the impression that Hydaelyn is actually the source of the evil. On Zodiac. A visitor has come knocking at your door. Whoever could it be? Istinia, Grahatia, Y'shtola, Fancred? Oh no, Fancred. I guessed right.
Evening. I hoped you hadn't crawled beneath the covers just yet.
He seems like the sort.
I have a favor to ask.
Yeah. Who would I expect to be walking down the corridors in the middle of the night? Would be Fancred.
Don't worry. Nothing desperate or dire, if that's what you were wondering. Not yet. You know, we may have quite literally entered our final days. The ancients went so far as to call it that for a reason. If so, then everything we did for Reen, for the first, will have been meaningless. And I can't accept that. I just can't. My mind won't allow for the possibility. And that could be a problem. When we're in the thick of it, I don't know if I've got it in me to be pragmatic this time. To run, even if running's the right choice. The only choice. So if you see me turning a blind eye to the harsh reality, beat some sense into me, would you? I trust you and the other Scions with my life. And I'd like to think the feeling is at least occasionally mutual. And I never forgive myself if my stubbornness put them in danger. Gods, listen to me. Beginning to sound like the father I never had. So, Can I count on you to keep me in line? I can think of no one else more eminently qualified. Excellent. Now I can breathe a bit easier. Which isn't to say that I will, given what we're up against. Let's keep this little chat our secret. I'd rather not have anyone scolding us for burning the midnight oil.
While earlier in the Alamican Quarter,
Thank the gods that tower is gone. The sight of it was enough to make me sick.
Thank the Ilsebar contingent, more like. Word is, they fought their way into Garlemald and toppled the bloody thing themselves. Not just the one, neither. All the towers have up and vanished.
Aye, I heard the same. Commander Aldin and his troops helped keep casualties to a minimum, too. But is it true they brought back tempered Garlean soldiers?
As Commander Aldin tells it, they've a treatment for that now. But don't you worry. Cured or not, they've no plans to bring them into the city proper.
I see. Well, that's a relief then. I know we've brothers and sisters among the lot, but I can't say I'm eager to welcome them home.
Wanted to think about it for a while yet. They're to be looked after in Alagana for the time being.
uh-oh. Meanwhile, in Ishgard,
Another day, another commission of paramount importance. Well, what have we here?
is he drunk?
Hey, are you all right? Was that? No. The shadows play tricks, nothing more. The towers are gone, and the Garlean threat is abated. And yet, why does it feel as though it's about to get much, much worse?
Okay. So the next quest is called Skies Aflame. Tataru is furrowing her brow in consternation. Oh, Mithrie, I was just about to call for you. I'm afraid that we received another call for assistance. This one comes from Radzahan. The others have assembled in the main hall to discuss the situation. You must join them at once. Okay. There you are. Our worst fears have come to pass, but moments ago we received grim tidings from our contact in Radzahan. Wild beasts have appeared as if out of nowhere, claiming one victim after the next. What's more, they say that the very sky burns above them. Good gods, are the final days already upon us? It would appear so. Sadly, that is all the information we have at present. No doubt the people at Radzahan are busy fighting for their lives. And we must go at once. They need our help. Agreed. Kral, you'd best remain here with Tataru and gather what knowledge you can. You are in no condition for a long journey, I imagine. Very well. Similar phenomena have been observed elsewhere, and if so, we must know what about it at once. Be safe out there, yes? Let's make first for Yedomad. We must prepare ourselves for what may lie ahead. Cool. Oh, we have to go back to Avner. So let's teleport. Kind of give me World of Warcraft vibes. Like when they unleashed Deathmore onto the world.
Vile beasts did rise. Leaving naught in their wake but blood and ash. Sun scorches earth and boils seas. And our sins ascend unto the heavens. Three dooms to unmake all we were.
The sky burns. The final days are truly upon us.
Yeah. I literally, World of Warcraft literally even had this reddish hue with the meteors coming out the sky.
My friends, I trust you have heard the news.
We have. What can you tell us of the situation, Your Excellency?
Last night, the Isle was rocked by tremors, and the earth itself cried out. Aloft, the heavens began to burn. From all about, unholy beasts, the likes of which we had never seen, came forth in fury and rage. No. To say they came forth would be inexact. The people of Radzat-Han themselves transformed into these baleful fiends. Though the phenomenon was observed throughout our lands, the first creature, the largest and most dreadful of the lot, wrought havoc upon us here in our fair city. Though they bear superficial resemblance to divinities of legend, they are ungodly abominations. The people decry them as blasphemies. The Large One's rampage has since taken it to the northern reaches of the island. I mean to dispatch our radiant host in an attempt to quell the threat.
And what of Vritra?
Vritra too makes for the north of his own accord, and yet he knows the blasphemy and its minions were but yesterday his beloved people. I pray his boundless compassion and mercy does not deter him from taking unenviable but necessary action.
Understood. I ask that you allow us to aid you in quelling this threat.
You would risk your lives to help us yet again? I have no words to express my gratitude. Our regiments approach the north from several directions, with a number of units set to depart from the docks of Yedlimat. They will make landfall in an area of dense jungle, where one can expect to encounter dangers even beyond the fell beasts we hunt. I leave you to your preparation. You will find me at the docks when you are ready to depart.
We're as prepared as we'll ever be. Let's go.
Alright. So let's continue. So everyone has assembled, yes? I thank you for lending us your aid in our battle against the blasphemy. Let's review our plan of attack. I would have you board this bow and circle around to the north side of the island. There you will find a dense jungle we call Vanaspati. It is a sacred wood, home to many temples and a number of villages. Vera and Radiant Host have gone there ahead of us. I would ask that you join them and do all in your power to destroy this blasphemy. Cool. So Vanaspati is now accessible. Alright, awesome. So anyway guys, that's it for this episode. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And as always, goodbye from me and goodbye from Mithrie. Bye guys.